Howdy, it's Uncle Paul, and I just finished reading Early Riser's latest book, and I want to talk about it while it's still fresh on my mind. Well, if I'm going to discuss a book, I thought I'd better have some tea. So, well, it's Friday. It's noon, right at noontime on Friday. Don't have work today. It's holiday, Easter weekend and everything. So I sat down out here. It feels wonderful, and finished up Early Riser's book, or Trey Free, his book, his second book, his latest one. It's called Pushing North, Tame the Mind, Savor the Journey. Let me first say that this book is very well written. It's well edited. It's easy to read. It flows well. He did a great job writing this book. Now, this book is not about his through hike of the Appalachian Trail that he did in 2017. I mean, it's not like he goes from beginning to end and just tells that story. Obviously, he refers to it a lot, uses examples from that through hike. Now, I would call this a self-help book. His stated goal for this book is to help people that want to through hike the Appalachian Trail. It's to help them succeed, to complete that goal. And he does it really by, tame the mind, savor the journey. So he talks a lot about the mind because, as he says, and others have said, a lot of it, really success has a lot more to do with our mindset and our thinking. So he talks a lot about the brain, and I would put the book, I would separate it in two categories. Basically, the first half is about where he lays the foundation, and in the second half he makes more application. Now, there's application in the first half too, but he really gets down in the weeds talking about the brain, how the brain works, and he uses two different terms here. The division of the brain. One part of the brain he calls the elephant. The other part he calls the rider. Now, he says, that, of course, he didn't come up with this terminology and this idea. He gives credit to where credit's due throughout this book, which, by the way, it's well researched, well thought out, So he talks a lot about the elephant and the rider, and how the conflict between the two, and how things that a person can do to kind of make them more in sync, and how that's needed to not just complete a long through hike, some long trail, but he also talks about, and makes it known that, hey, this can be used for any real challenge in life. Let me read, so in the very back here, just this little last sentence or paragraph. He says, stop being the person that quits when things get hard and transform into the person that achieves the goals that matter to you. So it's beyond just someone who wants to through hike the Appalachian Trail. But that's the focus. His conclusions that he makes in this book, they're not that much different really than the conclusions that and the points that are made in other self-help books that I've read throughout my life. A lot of the same conclusions, which was expected. I didn't expect him to necessarily have a whole lot different. He did, but his approach was different. His approach was definitely different, and I liked it really, I think, better than any of this type of book that I've read. Now, whenever I read a book, especially one that's kind of like a self-help book, or they're making their arguments to, support a point they're trying to make or whatever. And I'm sure you're the same way. You should be, I think. I go into it open-minded, any book, and I know that most likely I'm not going to agree with everything that they say. And I don't, and I didn't with this. I don't agree with everything that he said. Well, my nephew just came home from work early, so talk to him for a minute. So in the application part of the book, Trey talks about habits and he talks about tactics, and of course talks about using the mind to form habits, good habits, and so how to do that, and talks about self-discipline, talks about fear. So he talks about all kinds of things like that are going to be helpful. And he also gives some tough love. I mean, he doesn't just hammer it, but he's straightforward about some things. And so that's always good. I mean, if a person is wanting to improve, wanting to better themselves, then, we need to hear that kind of stuff. And so I found it, like I said earlier, that I found it particularly helpful more than most of the self-help books that I've read, because, for a number of reasons. It's about, he uses the Appalachian Trail, he uses backpacking and all that, which I'm into, of course. I got probably more out of it because it's early riser, and I feel like I already know him, really. I'm sure many of you do too, because, back in 2017, when he did his through hike and he was posting videos just about every single day, I was like waiting for the next video, anxious for the next one to come out, And he gave a lot of advice. He gave a lot of hacks, if you will, that I use. I use still today, of course, and that's where I learned some of those. And I was already primed by 2017 when his videos started coming out, when he did his hike, because I'd been into the Appalachian Trail for a long time, been wanting to do a through hike, and I decided 2017 was my year. I was going to do a flip-flop, start later in the year. Of course, it was a flop, but I learned a lot from my short experience that first time and the time since. So I, this book meant more to me, and I could identify with it more so because it was Trey, and because it really focused on the Appalachian Trail and hiking. And it is a motivational book. At least it did motivate me, because y'all know I've been considering what I'm going to do, what I'm going to hike this summer, and it's always a struggle to prepare for it. And of course there's, gas prices, there's all kinds of obstacles, that I can use as excuses. One of the things I had mentioned in last week's videos, one of the options was a friend of mine called and said that lived very close to the Appalachian Trail, not too far from Max Patch, and invited me out and, would cart me around, drop me off, pick me up. Thinking to do some short distances on the AT or other trails nearby. But now, I'm thinking that probably for me, what I would really like to do is, because of my job, and I need my job, and I need the health care that I have with it, finally got that health care, but I have the summers off, and I could, during a summer, I could knock out a good section of the trail if I'm prepared. Now, that's coming up, real soon here for this summer. I don't want to waste this summer. So I've decided that, I got to call my friend and talk to him about this, but I want to stay with him, and then he can drop me off on the trail and I go north or south, whatever, and do as much as I can on that trail, on the Appalachian Trail, this summer. I have some ideas of how far I can go, how much time. I don't yet know quite what my time frame's going to be, but I think I can be at least 1 month, if not 6 weeks, devoted to hiking the Appalachian Trail. So that's my plan right now. And hey, I've already done nearly 50 in the 3 times I've been out there. I've already got like 50 miles of the AT under my belt. So, but yeah, that is what I want to do, and you know, getting that 2,200 miles in sections, being a lasher, that is fine with me. You know, I give this book a thumbs up, and it's definitely worth reading, especially if you're wanting to through hike the Appalachian Trail or any long trail, or really, you know, with general challenges in life. Yeah, this can be definitely helpful. So it is Saturday morning, and I brought my little refrigerator out here so it could defrost the little freezer part, and Hurley is helping me clean it out. It needs cleaning as well, and Hurley's got a head start on that. Good Sunday morning, everybody. Well, if you have read Early Riser's book, please comment down below, and then also let me know what you thought about it, what your impressions were. I want to give a shout out to one of my longtime subscribers who is through hiking the Appalachian Trail this year. It's Rick Masters. He doesn't have a YouTube channel, or he's not using it if he does. He's documenting his through hike on Instagram, and down below I will put that information if you'd like to go check out his Instagram page. He said he just ran into that the Larry the Log guy, the guy that's for charity. He's hiking the trail carrying a big log on his shoulders, and he's making high mileage from what I understand. But so go check out Rick Masters. So guys, it is Easter Sunday. I hope you have a great day today. I hope you have a great week. And once again, thank you so much for watching. Please like the videos. Please comment down below. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. And Lord willing, I will see you next Sunday.